I have always loved getting people out on a gravel road and letting them see the farm life firsthand, whether it's in the field at our full-time farming jobs or here at home on our own little cattle ranch. So now I'll bring the camera along and you sit back and ask the questions. Let's explore this Midwestern farming and ranching lifestyle together. This is your channel. This is Dodge Brothers Farm and Ranch. Planting day. Well, we got the planter going. It's working pretty good. The only problem I see is the fact that we're only going to get about another hour before it starts to rain. And we've already got raindrops hitting the side of the tractor. Well, unfortunately, it looks like that's a wrap on day one of planting. We got 36.7 acres planted. But the important thing is the planter works fine. Now we know everything's going to be okay. So when the weather cooperates, we can just go, go, go. Well, the old cow still hasn't had her calf, but some of the young calves are already learning how to pull hay out of the hay feeder on their own. And I got the water tank full this morning. So now it's back up to the farm. We got rained out yesterday planting, and I hope we're gonna get some planting done today, but I don't know if that's a good idea or not, because we're going to get snow tomorrow, and tomorrow night it's supposed to get down to 26 degrees now. This weather is just unbelievable. Well, with the nasty cold forecast for the weekend and the snow threat, pretty much everybody in the county decided not to plant any more corn today, so we fixed some broken tile. A full 40 degrees colder than last weekend and snow on the ground, so what better time to finally have that calf that was 12 or 13 days late from the due date. It's that time of day where you have the age-old debate with yourself. Is it time to turn the lights on? Or is it better with the lights off? I'm not sure. But what happens when the sun starts to go down and the breeze dies off is the moisture starts to creep up in the soil. Right now the moisture level is half an inch or an inch down below the top of the soil. And just here in probably the next 15 to 20 minutes, The moisture level is going to be almost to the top of the soil. It's cooling off fairly quickly tonight, and there's no breeze at all, so that means it'll probably be a pretty early night. I've got about 45 minutes left to finish this field. It's 8:22. I'm not sure it's going to happen. It's going to be close. But what happens when the moisture line gets up to the top of the soil is the soil starts to stick to your gauge wheels. And the gauge wheels are those rubber wheels that run next to the disc openers that keep your depth consistent in the ground. And when dirt and mud starts to stick to those gauge wheels, it artificially increases the diameter of them and causes you to be planting more shallow than you intend to. So you got to be careful towards the end of the night to pay attention to build up on your gauge wheels. And when it starts to happen, it's time to take it to the shed.
Now, all the technology in the world is no substitute for getting out of the tractor once in a while, digging down in the dirt and finding a few seeds and making sure that you're planting at the correct depth and that you've got good seed to soil contact all around the seed with no air pockets. This one's laying in there right at 2 inches, just like we want.
Now, this planter is an amazing piece of technological equipment. It wasn't that long ago that we had a ground-driven planter, which basically means that there was a little rubber tire connected to a series of chains and shafts on the back of the planter, and every time you would set the planter down, that tire would ride on top of one of the tires that was turning on the ground already. And that would drive the entire system through a series of shafts and sprockets and chains and little mini flexible shafts that went to each individual meter on each row. But now we're operating with electric drive meters on each individual row. Each row has its own electric motor to turn the seed plate. And so this planter is highly reliant on GPS technology to know where we are at any given moment and to know how fast we're going, so that it can turn the meters at the correct speed to get the correct population planted. See, right now I'm crossing a grass waterway, and you heard that beep. We don't have to raise the planter up. We just go right across, and the meters shut off when they encounter the waterway, and they turn back on when they come out of the waterway. And the way that we're able to do that is we previously drove up and down each waterway and mapped out where they start and where they end. So there's a permanent GPS map of each field, and every time we cross into those waterways, it shuts off the row units that are in the waterway. This particular field that we're planting today has a lot of what we would refer to as point rows, which basically means when you come into the end, into the rows that you've already planted, you're not coming in perfectly straight, you're coming in at a 45-degree angle. And so each row has to shut off as it crosses into where you've already planted.
Here's another example of planting into point rows. We're actually running contoured rows on the end rows and straight rows in the middle of the field. So as we cross over where the seed has already been planted, the planter automatically shuts off each row as it crosses in.
Well, we're just about to get rained out again on this farm that we started 10 days ago and got rained out on. I'm pretty sure of it. Well, the rain came up pretty quick, and I'm back in the shed. We have yet to plant for more than 6 hours on any given day. But I guess we should feel pretty good because we've got 230 acres planted.